Hey everyone, I just read The Big Nowhere by James Ellroy, and man, that was bleak. It's so frustrating reading these books because I genuinely love the mysteries and going along for the ride, but they're just so gronky by today's standards. It's a real mixed bag. It's a book about a witch hunt spearheaded by the Los Angeles Police Department in an attempt to root out the growing communist movement in Hollywood in the early months of 1950, that soon becomes overshadowed by a series of gruesome murders, and the three unlikely men who find themselves at the center of both. The pros? I really enjoyed the murder mystery. It definitely feels like it's trying to one-up the Black Dahlia in terms of gruesomeness, but the way it unravels as all the pieces fall into place was really cool, and it doesn't feel like as much of a cop-out this time either. The book was at its best when its focus was on catching the murderer. Los Angeles itself remains the best character in the book, but there are a couple who do their best to steal the spotlight. Danny Upshaw, the up-and-coming sheriff's deputy for one, but Dudley Smith, the orchestrator of the LAPD's witch hunt into Hollywood communists, is easily the best new member of the cast. The guy demands your attention whenever he appears. I really enjoyed him. And the same rawness from the Black Dahlia returns here. It definitely chafed a bit more here than in the previous book, but overall I think it still worked really well. The cons? Putting aside the fact that this book posits another fictional resolution to a real murder case, thankfully in a less exploitative way than in the Black Dahlia, this book's treatment of the LGBTQI+ community just rubs me the wrong way. The novel isn't anti-LGBT, it's not really anti-anything, but it does use a lot of really tired tropes like bury or gaze, or the idea that many non-straights are depraved or promiscuous, and by the end the whole thing had kind of consumed the novel, to say nothing of its treatment of women. It is really hard to care about the protagonists in this one. Buzz Meeks is a fixer for the mob who does some awful things, Mal Considine is an abuser who does some other awful things. They did grow on me toward the end of the book once they started to repent for their past wrongs, but for the most part the only one I really cared about was Danny Upshaw, and even he kind of lost me once he got dragged into Dudley Smith's communist witch hunt. Yeah, it was really hard to stay invested this time around. And this book has some major slumps. Basically whenever the focus shifted away from the murder mystery. The communist witch hunt does end up tying into the overall plot, but I just didn't find it very engaging. But the worst of the pacing stumbles had to be at the end, when a character just shows up out of nowhere and gives a 10-page info dump on the killer's backstory and motivations. It felt really clumsy. Once again, I'm really torn on this one. I think it avoided falling into some of the Black Dahlia's pitfalls by swan diving right into a few others. It really lost me in the middle act, but there were some moments in this one that were really good. If you're a reader of hard-boiled crime fiction, I'd definitely give it a recommend if you haven't read it already. If you enjoy films like The Wolf of Snow Hollow, you might like it too. Just be aware of its faults going in. And I'm giving The Big Nowhere a B. What did you think of the book? Let me know in the comments down below, and while you're there, why not leave a suggestion for what I should read next? I promise I'll get to it eventually. If you liked the review and want to see more, please like, subscribe, and share the video around. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.